Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash. The abundance apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Mothers like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show to the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. So I happened to want to tell a lie to the vision. They playing this movie, Demolition Man, which is a very prophetic movie. This is highly, I want to say prophetic. Because there's a difference between prophecy and predictive programming. Esau on the left-hand side, he has his power of, what's that word? Method of the revelations, or something like that. Or revelations of method, where they tell you what they're planning to do, how they planning to do. And this movie came out in 1993, and in 1993, nobody was thinking about anything of this type of futuristic event. It was action packed, came out in the 90s and so forth, but nobody was really thinking about a lot of things that was being put on this film. And a lot of these I remember back in the days of a lot of futuristic movies, a lot of them felt a lot of far-fetched. But lo and behold, they've been plotting this thing out for a long period of time. You can watch movies like, one movie came in mind right now, Minority Report, where they have how they call it? Before somebody commits a murder, they had witches, warlocks, people with powers that could predict how it would go down, but they was using that, to stop people from actually killing, and you would get arrested not because the act that you did, but the pretense. So, all of these films were a form of a way of control. So watching this movie over again, we know the character that is the Demolition Man, which is Sylvester Stallone. He's a cop. He's supposed to be the good guy. And so happens Wesley Snipes, because I was looking at it like, oh shit. So Wesley Snipes' character was born in the 90s, or he was in the 90s. He was terrorizing everybody. He was a full-blown criminal. He's what they was calling back then, from Hillary Clinton to Joe Biden to Bill Clinton himself, but it was really Hillary, a super predator. All right. When you really analyze it, that's exactly what they was trying to say, because this shit was fucking far-fetched. And it was based on Los Angeles, which Los Angeles wasn't that bad back then neither. But it's neither here and there. So, two people that's supposed to be from the same era and did things their own fashionable way, but they shot up to the future and see how pussified the future have become. Very entertaining film, and the key thing to this film was what? The C-hip. Which according to the film, Sylvester Stallone's character, he had the C-hip, but Wesley Snipes' character, he didn't. But then, when you analyze it, he must have it as well, because he knew how to fight better. He knew how to break down the scriptures. He either was mass hypnosis or they had something on him. So basically, in order to be a person of greatness, you have to be part with technology. All right. One was to keep you in tab. The other was to make you superior. That's what Wesley Snipes' character was. It's just that he didn't have the C hip with a GPS and so forth, but he was programmed. He was upgraded. So both of these guys had the C hip when he really analyzed the movie. So they both had the C hip. Revelation 13 and 16. All right, to terrorize that current world. So basically, all these Esau's films through his witchcraft, you cannot be advanced unless you become one with his technology. So all these hints and clues and showing everybody back then, this is how they think of the future. This is how they think it's gonna go down. That's why this one scripture came in mind, and that's the scripture I'm gonna use. Is this? It's this Psalms. Actually, two scriptures now. Let's go to this one first. Psalms 64. No. Psalm 60. 68. Slakia. And about. Yep. 15. It says that the hill of the Most High is in the hill of Bashan, and the high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye high hills? This hill which the Most High desireth to dwell in, yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. And that a great TV show. It was great from the beginning for the first 5 seasons. It was called The Game of Thrones, which was about, to make a long story short, a certain bloodline that ruled for centuries was ousted, and every high family was jockeying for the position of the throne, which became the Game of Thrones. Well, it's the same thing on Earth, especially on Earth, because why people fail to understand, despite what they show us, how they show us, these other nations believe in a higher power. And they know a lot of them are warped out. They believe in a lot of these nations believe in multi-gods. All right. There's a word for it, I can't remember. They believe in multiple gods and one. And especially here in America, there's a slogan in New York. I don't know if the rest of the states, but it said God is one, and they'll put all the different signs of religion as basically saying the Most High. This is what they're saying, that God of the Bible, or God in general, may come in multi different religion, but there's always a God, which that God that they worship is Satan. There's many faces of Satan. But overall, they all know that there is a true God. But they want that position. This is why you have films like Demolition Man. I mentioned Minority Report. All these futuristic films that's here in America, but you have the actions of the other nations. That's why you have BRICS. It's in 159 countries has made a deal with the BRIC countries, and deal with their currency, which is ultimately to kill the dollar. So that everybody's jockeying for power position. They made alliances amongst themselves, and these alliances is not just to scare the West, is to the full control of the future. So this proved that they believe in a higher power, and they believe that by the rule of force, or however deviant, wicked thing, that the Most High is going to be with them to control the world. But the scripture says otherwise. Okay, that's why it says, "Why ye leap ye, O high hills? This is the hill which the Most High desire." Which hill is that? Where Israel dwelled. All right, the nation of Israel. That's what the Lord's Spirit is dealing with. So it's a fundamental jealousy that these other nations have. That the God of the Bible, the creator of all things, is dealing with the nation of Israel. That's why they took it upon themselves to take the Israelites out of power, and some try to completely destroy them from the face of the earth. But the Most High's plan was never for his people to be destroyed or wiped out. It was to teach them a lesson. And it got to the point where the Lord scattered his people throughout the four corners of the earth, have them looking like other people. Right? And it says, the Lord will dwell in it forever. And that proves, because the scripture tells you that the Most High is going to dwell with the nation of Israel. So all these different things is a cold-cut documentary, a receipt of sort of their desire of the future and how they see the future shall be. All right. Psalms 2:1. It says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" And the scripture for vain means nothing. So they are empty. Their thoughts and their imaginations are empty because they will never accomplish what they desire. It doesn't matter if Russia, China, India, Iran, and so forth, if they became power position. I was watching something. Oh yeah, that's the spirit. Let me get that real quick. Just the beginning part. And hear what this man says. I didn't even know I was going to go this. Wow.
People that are very progressive, that lean very far left, they seem to also hate our country.
They do.
The message to them, well, let's go try and live in Russia or China or Iran or any of these places. You wouldn't exist.
I'm very concerned that on many of those things we are sliding into something that really isn't who we are.
This whole progressive movement that's going on here, Constantine, is insane.
I think we have a limited amount of time to turn this around. And if we don't, we will not survive in the way that we apparently think of what the West is. There's a difference between being the most powerful nation in history, as the Roman Empire was at the time, and selling ice cream on the ruins of that former great civilization.
And it especially now, everything is comparing the current state of the American Empire to the Roman Empire. Everything points to the same thing. So if everything points to the same destination, did not the empire that is the Roman Empire failed? It wasn't utterly destroyed, but it fell. So they all say the same thing. That's one. Two, the moral decay of this particular place. It went from a Christian, that's why Putin said what he said. He knew the history of America. He said America was built on Christian values, but now they're no longer a Christian country, which, in other words, is in a form of decay. So when something is in a form of decay, it's not going to be fixed. Decay means dead, dying. So there's no help. There's no future. So then let this introduction. This is the introduction part.
Not the same thing. I really wouldn't want the West to end up going downhill, and one of the reasons is I've seen the other side. I've been to other places. I've grown up in other places. Believe me, you do not want Russia to be the dominant country in the world or China to be the dominant country in the world, because the things you hold dear, they're not going to be respected in the same way that they currently are.
And that's the point. It's a change of whoever's in power position. You're gonna follow what the rulers say. Now, when you go into these great empires, especially in the book of Daniel, he spoke of the statue, all right, the beast. It spoke of history that was going to take place, starting with the Babylonian Empire. And Babylonian was taken down about maybe 40 years after, I believe, maybe not 40 years. I know it was a couple of generations. Because the prophecy said 70 years. But the Lord sped it. He shortened it. So, in their last stop of power, so to speak, or take over, was the nation of Israel, which was recorded. But what ended up happening when the Syrians came along, I'm sorry, not the Syrians, the Persian, the Medo-Persian Empire came along, they didn't destroy that history of Babylon. They just assimilated it. Likewise with the Greeks and the Romans. All right. Everything stayed intact, proving that whoever rules, they set the rules. But this empire, once it's taken out of position of nobody's gonna follow anything of this empire. And this empire is nothing but a mixture of all these failed kingdoms on the planet Earth. So when the scripture says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? They have in their mind that they're going to continue forever. They have in their mind that their position of power is going to keep them going. And he said, nobody wants to go, worry about the other side. Nobody wants to live like the other side. They don't take, there's nothing good on this side or on that side. So the world need new management. All right? It's long overdue. That's why it says, going back to this, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? So the alliance is cut down the middle. Those that with NATO, the EU, and their alliance, or Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and so forth. It's coming down to the wire. But all that is for vain purpose, because it doesn't matter. The sole purpose of Russia was created, or the USSR, was to destroy America. So the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. And that's the key. Slovakia. But that's the key to this whole subject. Now, how are they? Maybe in the beginning, they straight up said we got to come against the God of the Bible. But anything that comes against life is against the Most High Himself. All right, especially His people. He said against His anointed, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." That's speaking of the nation of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The future that is set. Now, all these futuristic movies that we see, now they started to add people of color. But when all these sci-fi literature was created, and if it transformed into a show a movie, they never had you in the in those things because they didn't see you in the future. You was never a part of the future. That's why the character of Wesley Snipes was significant. He wasn't the only one, but it was significant. He was archaic. The archaic way was going to be eliminated, which the super predator of the black man, all right, that couldn't be in their future. All right, that's what it was basically saying. Like, nope, we ain't bring it. That's not coming to the future. They help created the nigga, the concept of a nigga, but in the future, they don't fit the narrative how they want things to be. Even with the black woman, the way she is now, it's just a bypass time. She think she's ahead of her kind of the future. We want to be a part of this new world order, but she's not a part of it. She's just there to help destroy her own. But all this vain ideas, these vain things that they're doing, the Lord is just allowing these things to take place. He said, "He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision." And we know derision, mockery, to mock, deride, ridicule, to stammer. The Lord's is a joke to him because he knows what he has in store for his people and the future of the earth and beyond. All these different nations are trying their best. I guarantee they have a whole bunch of New World Order films on the other side when they come out clean and how they see the utopia is going to take place. It's all, and they all have the same evil plot. All right, just like what the DNC, almost the vilest shit that you could ever think. Jake is so small-minded that Jake actually took sides when nothing that the side that they pick has nothing to do with them. Show you how stupid our people are, right? And a lot of Jakes find themselves a part of this system, this new world order system. Real quick, use this one. Revelations 3:15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is the Roman Empire." That image is his new world order. All right. And that the image of the beast, which is new world order, should both speak and cause. Well, both speak meaning they bring it to life. That's why everything's in play. The nuclear family is completely destroyed. Men versus women. All right. America's a shell of what it's supposed to represent. But that was all part of the plan. So everybody sees the decay that's within, but they think it's better than the other side. And they have their own ways. All right. So it says, "And cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed." So it doesn't matter if you want to go with the Russians or the American side. If you're not part of the New World Order, you will be killed. And it goes into, that's why you have organizations as the WHO. What's the other organization with Klaus Schwab? You got the IMF and all this other stuff. They already plotting things way ahead. And a lot of people do not fit their agenda. All right. A lot of people did not fit their agenda. So going back to this real quick, it's back in Psalms 2:5. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. So the God of the Bible, God has a response for all this disrespectful narrative that they're trying to put, that they're gonna be ruling his world, the world that he created. At the end of the day, right? It says, and the ultimate weapon he's gonna use is the ICBM nuclear missiles. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Who's the king that the Lord said? The Lord is the king. He's the God maker, the king maker. Who is he talking about? He's talking about his first begotten. That he's going to usher in the new world order. The new world order is the real order under Yahweh Shai. Alright? When Israel is going to rule. Not the Israelis, the true biblical Israelites. It says, I would declare the decree that the Lord has said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I'll give you I'll give the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So part of the Lord's blessing of completely planetary takeover, the guarantee is what? People, commodity, human, humans as possession. All right. In other words, slavery. He's going to enslave the heathens on the planet Earth. He's going to do it by force. And those that are related to him or are part of his nation, they also going to inherit what he inherits. Thus say the scriptures. That's a natural fact. So this is the other side. All this utopia or dystopia that they plan for the future, like I mentioned, the Demolition Man movie and all sorts of all these futuristic films, those are just thoughts. Those are not the reality. That's why it says this. Job 20. I'm going to go to the point. Right. 20. Surely he shall not feel the quietness in his belly. So we saw the vision. All right. Because that's a vision. That's an artist's rendition of the future. That's why we see with these films. That's what the directors and those that are in position of power, that's what they desire. That's their wet dream. So once they're telling us, once they establish that they're going to be quiet, they work all their entire existence to enforce their rulership on the planet Earth. But the scripture's telling you the opposite. Surely he shall not feel the quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. And his ultimate desire, going back to Revelations 13 chapter, 16 on down, is to brand all his slaves on the planet Earth. So no longer a man or a woman can have an independent thought. You be the possession of whomever, all right, whatever company that you took that thing, you will be in possession of that. The ultimate end game is not just destruction, is to enslave the minds of billions, to enslave people. All right, it's all about power. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods, in the fullness of his sufficiency. So that when he's about to fill up, when he's about to set up shop, it says, he shall be in straits. So when he's about to establish that which he desires, he's about to be met with great resistance, just like in that film. They had a little utopia, but somebody had to bring in somebody that was archaic to that future to rattle it up so he could completely have control and power. Right? And by doing what they did in that film and the state of the people, they could have easily took over. But the Lord, once again, is going to make things difficult. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, which is talking about the laborers, right? When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when he's establishing, he's lock, stock, barrel, all around the world, these top elites or have people's mind, body, and soul locked down, and he's about to enjoy that he worked hard for. That's when the Lord's going to utterly destroy him. So that futuristic films is just that. It's just a futuristic film for the time being, but the outcome is the utter destruction of this man's future. That's what the scripture says in Ecclesiastes. Them that look at the future, look at the window is darkened. The window is going to be dark. The future is dark. So this is his plan. Whatever was going on in this film, but the results is the utter destruction of this, showing that all this shit was and is an abomination. All right, and none of you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans will fit this man's system. But the kingdom to come is ours, and Yahushua is coming in. He's going to take it by force. Scripture says, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. That's literally, right? The rulership of the planet Earth is up for grabs. With that being said, something real quick to the spirit of Yahweh Shalom, your brothers edify. Shalom.